Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to our weekly show Top 8, where we break down this week's biggest stories in the world of movies. And with me, as always, is Connor.
Hello.
And Benny.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you guys been?
Good. I noticed that you didn't say it's been a huge week.
Yeah, because I say that every week, and
We say that when it's not huge weeks.
Yeah.
It's when actually it's a huge week. It speaks for itself.
yeah.
Ironically, we have a
It
huge
is
amount
true.
of news this week because the one week that you haven't
Thank
said
goodness. Thank goodness. Last week was a little thin.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so how you guys been? Have you been watching anything?
Benny?
Any media?
Yeah, mercifully, Fargo season 3 just started. Noah Hawley's TV adaptation of the Coen brothers film. It's pretty much my favorite show every season. We're 3 episodes into this season, and it looks like another winner.
Cool. Is Billy Bob in this one?
No, it's an anthology series, so it's a completely different story every season.
Oh, yes.
This one has Ewan McGregor playing twins.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
Nice.
yeah,
Cool.
very cool.
What about you, Connor?
During the weekend, I was getting a bit of work done, and I thought I'd chuck on something in the background. So I was just going through Netflix, and I found The Incredibles. So just chuck that on, and within 10 minutes, I'd put my laptop down. I was like, nah, fuck it, I can't have this on the background.
Yeah.
It is such a good film.
That movie commands all your attention. It's a goddamn masterpiece.
So good. It just hits all the right notes, and it's for some reason it never kind of makes it into my top 3.
Superhero films.
Not even superhero, like kind of Pixar or animation films.
I reckon it's one of the best superhero films.
It absolutely is.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it does kind of go by the wayside to, you know, your Ups or the Toy Story franchise.
Up sucks.
Yeah, but everyone kind of seems to love that one and
Yeah,
remember
and
it.
what's the only thing they ever talk about is the first
10
5 minutes.
minutes.
No
Yeah.
one even remembers the rest of that movie.
I like
It's
the rest of the movie.
so average.
I don't know.
No, I think it's a good film. I think you're just being a
Pixar
grumpy-
average.
Okay, well, if we're talking Pixar average, then
Well,
the
that
bar is
changes
pretty
everything.
high.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah,
it's still
such
one
a-
of the low ones.
Oh, such an incredible film.
Whoa.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
And now Connor has to leave.
Yeah.
We'll get on with the...
You're off
George.
the podcast.
Yeah, Georgie boy.
What did I watch? Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I went back to the cinema and watched it again. That was cool. You guys said last week you watched it again and it went down. You didn't enjoy it as much. I enjoyed it just the same the second time. My same complaints were there. I thought the third act got a little fatiguing towards the end. But honestly, I loved it, and I'm going to go watch Volume 1 again because everyone's saying, oh, that's the best film ever. So I'm ready to go rewatch that and see how they compare and give my final judgment on the Guardians
It's
of
a
the Galaxy.
3-week-long review.
Yeah.
Every time you see it, just be like, this is my thoughts this week.
Yeah, we'll do a retro review on it next week.
Yeah.
Why not? And then we also sat down and watched Prometheus. We'll have our retro review for that up on Tuesday.
Prometheus.
Oh, so excited.
It's going to be an interesting conversation, to say the least, but we'll leave that for Tuesday. Let's get into the top 8 of the week.
All right, guys. Our number 1 story for this week is we have a new Dark Tower posters as well as a new trailer. Or a first trailer, really. Finally, yeah.
Long time coming.
Yeah, waiting a long time. I thought there was inklings of this not materializing in 2017.
Well, it's been a while since they announced Idris Elba as the gunslinger, which caused its own little brand of controversy when it got released.
Let's not dignify those complaints by talking about him.
It's such shit, isn't it?
Who cares?
Oh, well.
It's Idris fucking Elba. Any movie's lucky to have him.
Oh, 100%. I'd love to see him as James Bond.
Yep.
I know there's the same complaints on that one, but fuck it.
You're so progressive, Connor.
I know, right? I just don't see race.
So what do you guys think of this trailer?
Yeah, look, I think I'm coming from it from never having actually read the books. Because
We're not the best crowd to be talking about this
Yeah.
movie, I would think. I don't think any of us have read it any at all, have we?
No, but I spoke to my friend Jordan, and he is a diehard Stephen King fan. He's read It. He's read all the Dark Tower series, amongst a number of his other books, and he was really disappointed by this trailer. Seems to be taking, which is to kind of be expected, a very Hollywood approach to the whole thing. Characters are getting what seems to be a larger screen presence than they actually are in the book, and it's just kind of been manhandled and reshaped into this atypical sort of Hollywood stories, when the beauty of the Dark Tower is how odd and just strange it is.
Yeah. So I mean, with this film, it's not actually based on. Well, it's based on the books, but it's not. The story isn't based on the books. It's happens after the seventh book. I
No,
believe.
it is based on the books. Potential spoilers for the Dark Tower, but the story is apparently a cycle. So it's technically after, but it's still an adaptation of the story from the books.
Yeah. But this is happening after the seventh book.
Yeah,
So
but that's just a way of saying it's an adaptation, really, and keeping it kind of canonical.
Yeah.
And keeping it loose, and it also gives them something in the back pocket to make changes, and then people can't get too pissed off.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, I always thought that was a good way to go about it.
Yeah, totally.
They don't have to stick to a story that they're inevitably not going to be able to live up to. That's always been a big problem with movies when you get adaptations from book to movie. People will always gripe, well, that's not the way it is in the movie, and you missed my favorite character, and you did this, you did that. I mean, if they just say, well, it's not based on the book, so
people get into big fights about those things too. It's crazy.
Yeah,
They're very
they
passionate.
do.
Some
Weird.
people, they just too much energy, you know. I think, this. I don't know about you guys. This trailer looked awesome, right?
I was pumped, man.
Yeah. I feel like it's not going to please anyone who's read the books. That's natural. But just watching the trailer, not knowing anything about it, looks sick.
Yeah, I'm now in that dilemma where do I try and read the books before it comes out?
Good luck.
I get through
700 pages per novel, 7 novels.
Yeah, I read pretty fast. I can do it.
Oh, here we go. Speedy Gonzalez. I thought it. I've been complaining about wanting this, B movie with a bit of budget, kind of sci-fi thing to return, and this looks like exactly what I want. Seems to have a bit of dough behind it. Some really interesting concepts. Idris Elba looks great. Not so sure about the kid, but that is in the novel and that's part of the story, so be it. And then Matthew McConaughey, hey, that guy's on a roll. So that, well, he was kind of on a roll in 2015, but I think it's setting itself up to be a really cool sci-fi flick.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to ask you guys. There's a bit of a trope in those kind of movies where the main protagonist or the one that kind of moves the story along is a kid accompanied by kind of a grittier adult. It can sometimes dull down a film, and it is a bit of a trope. How do you guys feel about that in this context?
I don't mind it. I mean, as I said, that was my one complaint with the trailer, but because it's part of the actual story in the novel, okay, that gives it a pass for me. Hopefully the kid's good. That's always the problem with these films. The kid's a little dorky and the lines feel forced, and he ends up being a Jake Lloyd from Phantom Menace kind of.
That's always the
portrayal.
risk. I mean, I think those movies are made or broken by the kid's acting ability.
Exactly.
And it's such a. I mean, I don't know how the people actually cast for these films because it's such a hard thing to predict and how that kid is going to look on camera and how they're going to play out.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered by it. I liked what I saw in the trailer. So I'll reserve judgment till I see the film, I guess.
It reminded me a little bit of Wanted, that Angelina Jolie one where they like
James
flicks the
McAvoy
guns
and
and the bullets curved.
Don't ruin it.
This
we've
one,
only
it
just
gets
gotten the
a
first
slow-mo.
trailer.
Did you not like Wanted?
No one liked Wanted.
I liked Wanted.
Oh
of
my
course I did. No, I mean, all right. Look,
Jesus.
as a sorry that I happen to just enjoy films instead of being a
The
snob.
Loom of Fate?
The Loom of
Oh,
Fate.
yeah,
Holy
that's
crap!
right.
That wasn't in the comic book. I remember.
No,
That
nothing was
like-
in the comic book. That was not an adaptation of the comic.
But that same kind of he's flicking the gun around, capturing the bullets midair,
Yeah.
and about to shoot him. I was like, that is so like
No.
2002. I'm so on board. Bring it.
Yeah.
So it's directed and co-written by Nicolas Arcel. I'm probably getting that wrong.
Definitely.
Old mate Nicolas.
As far as I know, he's a bit of an unknown. I know that he wrote Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, the Danish one, Swedish, Danish?
Swedish.
Swedish Danish.
Swedish, yeah.
Swedish.
Wherever they're from.
Swedish Danish.
It was one of them, I knew. I was like, I'll just say them
Roll of
both.
the dice. I really liked that film when it came out.
Yeah.
I was so just thought it was a fantastic story, and then it got superseded by the Fincher version.
Yeah.
When that came out in 2011,
But I liked those films for different reasons.
Yeah,
I felt they each had their different kind of flavor and style about them.
And they were almost like accompanying pieces, and I really like that about them.
Yeah.
But hey, he seems to have some chops, so we'll see how he can handle that kind of budget.
Yeah, so just to recap, we haven't read any of the books or seen any of this director's films.
But we will feel free to...
Looks awesome. 10 out of 10.
We will judge.
We will feel free to judge beforehand. Yeah. All right, so number 2, the long-awaited second Dunkirk trailer has been released. This is Christopher Nolan's newest film.
First one since Interstellar.
Yeah. Look, I'm a Nolan fan.
Same.
I will see this and I'll probably enjoy it. Having said that, I wasn't overly wrapped by the trailer.
So my take on the trailer is that this film is a hard one to market. It's a hard one to get a trailer going because it's a war film. We've seen this before. But we really need to see Chris Nolan's version of what that is. And he has said in interviews, this is a suspense thriller, not a war story. So this is like about the mission of them getting those troops out of that scenario, rather than kind of like a Saving Private Ryan commentary on war kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool little trailer. My instinct, though, is that it is not going to be anywhere near as kind of nail-biting as it tries to make it look in it. Nolan's a pretty dry filmmaker, and I don't like war movies at all, so I don't know how much I'm going to like this one.
Yeah. I felt with the trailer what they were trying to do is communicate a certain tone and a feeling across the trailer. Because I think that's with this kind of film that I don't think it will have... I don't know whether it will have like a traditional storyline or plot points. So I feel like it might be difficult to kind of market in that sense. Either that or he just doesn't want to give too much away, which is also completely fine by me. But yeah, just in terms of, I don't know why or what I expected from this trailer, but it kind of felt a little bit flat for me.
It seems to be, how do I put this? He seems to be holding a lot of cards to his chest still. Like, I'm not getting everything from this film. I'm not getting the beats of the film.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're kind of talking about before.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no clear, as far as I'm aware, there's no clear protagonist in this film.
Yeah.
At least not that's been released by the trailers.
I mean, Nolan is known for ensemble casts, so that makes sense. But I know what you mean. I'm not getting the main thrust behind this film. I'm not getting the sort of main kind of like, what is that action scene that sort of sets off this whole chain of events?
Even in most ensemble movies that he's done, if you think about Inception, there's very clearly a protagonist. It's Cobb. It's Leonardo DiCaprio. If you think, well, Batman Begins and that trilogy, obviously that has a main protagonist.
The Joker.
Yeah.
In the second one.
But I mean, like, there's always quite a clear kind of trajectory with those films. So it'll be interesting to see whether this is, a bit of a departure from that.
This could be just have that kind of natural thing with true stories where it's just a little less kind of narratively dramatic. It's just a bunch of characters doing a bunch of things.
I have the feeling that there's the potential for this to be one of those kind of like Oscar baiting films that's trying a little bit too hard.
Nolan wants an Oscar, man.
This might be his attempt to get one, to be honest.
I think so as well. I reckon he should have just shoved DiCaprio in there and then
he'd had it in the bag. Yeah.
But Nolan, just quickly to finish this, I think Nolan's last couple films haven't been his best. So he's got to kind of get back in the ranks there, because I'm not the biggest Dark Knight Rises fan. I'm not the biggest Interstellar fan. And now this could go either way.
Yeah, I feel like his last two sucked. And God, so it's been, since
2010? Inception.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I was fine with Interstellar. I understand why people didn't like it, but that didn't really bother me. I just thought it was a cool film. I completely agree with Dark Knight Rises. I wasn't okay with that film. The characters were cool. Like Bane was cool up until he was meaningless.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Look, if you haven't seen that movie by now, that's tough shit. But yeah, look, the Interstellar I thought was far better than the Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, so I am of two minds of this film. I think it could be either really good, or I just think it could be Oscar bait bullshit. Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. All right, number 3. I always get this guy's name wrong. Neill Blomkamp. Is that even close to being right? Neill Blomkamp. His Aliens sequel is apparently officially dead.
Ridley squashed it.
Yeah. He was a bit brutal about it too. Yeah. There was just like no kind of
he's
in between.
Like, no.
He's like, oh, this is dead. This is not happening now.
See, I was about to say, like, thank God, because Blomkamp, man, he really went off the rails. But then I was like, but now we're just stuck with Ridley making his Alien Prometheus movies. And I'm like, maybe I would prefer a crazy Blomkamp one that maybe be more like Resurrection than Prometheus.
I would have been keen to see his take on it. I thought it would have been really cool to have Ridley do the lead up to Alien, and then Blomkamp do everything past what would have been 2, really.
Yeah,
because he's gonna do. It'd be like the 5th Alien film, but it would replace 3 and 4. Was my understanding of
it was erasing those.
Yeah.
I hate that idea.
Really?
Revisionist stuff. Yeah, I
just kind of like how like blatantly.
Yeah.
It's not trying to retcon it or do it elegantly. It's like, those 2 kind of suck. So here's the new one. Here's the cool story.
Yeah, but I feel like in doing that, it just would have been so slavish to Aliens.
It would have been.
And Newt sucks. Don't bring back Newt. Newt died in the 3rd one. That was awesome.
Maybe you just kill him off in this new one as well.
That'd be amazing if the first scene of this movie is them dying again. Fuck. That'd be the best. It's like the exact same scene, except they're 30 years older.
I'd be down for that.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was excited for this particularly because of the fantastic concept art that was kind of got this film into the conversation. And I loved how it was picking up momentum through social media. It's a real shame that it didn't come together, because I think it would have been a really great sort of case study on how to get a film made in 2016, 2017 with the use of social media. So I was a little sad that it didn't come together from, just like a business model kind of perspective.
Don't cross Ridley. That's how you get a film made.
But, Ridley, Star Wars is doing multiple timelines. They're doing Rogue One. They're doing Episode 8 coming up. So they're jumping around. Why can't Alien do it? And
I completely agree. I don't see why that would be an issue. One of the things that actually got me kind of excited about this was a quote from Sigourney Weaver where she said, Neill and I had started chatting about how the series left Ripley, and I had not wanted to do a 5th one. She went on to say that going to Earth was a little bit boring. It kind of gave me hope that trajectory that they had taken with 3 and 4 would have been a bit different, and I think that would have been really cool to have that branch out.
Yeah, I think so as well. The Alien franchise was always supposed to go to Earth at the end of Resurrection. Not that there is supposed to be a movie after that, but there was always the promise of aliens on Earth.
Yeah.
And as I said, I was really excited for this one.
I reckon Blomkamp's aesthetic would have gone so well with this franchise, at least. And it could have even just been like a little trashier, because his last couple of movies are kind of garbagey, but they're sort of aspiring at something a bit more transcendent. I feel like if you just made like a monster movie, it could be pretty sick.
As you said, his design aesthetic it's a very important component of his films. If you think back to District 9, like the mecha thing he gets into, and it's just got a very nuts and bolts kind of realistic feel, which would have worked so well in the Alien franchise.
I mean, say what you want about his other his follow-up films.
I will.
Yeah.
I will say it.
Elysium and Chappie.
I actually don't mind Chappie. I don't
actually
that
mind
got
Elysium.
Fucked on, and I'm not sure why.
Chappie is batshit insane.
I don't know why people hate it so much.
I find it very off-putting.
But I mean, that aside, the aesthetic for both those films is very cool, and I think applying that kind of aesthetic, because he's got a pretty uniform aesthetic across all 3.
Yes.
I think applying that to the Aliens franchise would have been awesome.
I think it's officially called the Blomkamp verse.
Blomkamp verse. I'd believe it.
But yeah, I think Ridley needs to back off a little bit. I think he's owning the franchise.
We really got to see Covenant. I got to know. The reviews are out today. I can't wait.
I read a couple, and they said it's better than Prometheus, and it's much more back to horror alien. So
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
once again, cautiously optimistic.
About Covenant, not
Yes.
this film, because this film is not happening.
This is dead.
Don't be optimistic about that.
This
sad.
is very dead.
I'm sad.
All right, so on to number 4. Dwayne Johnson reveals Rampage details.
Rampage.
So he detailed this in an Instagram post,
As you do.
as you do, and essentially just kind of went through what the general plot of the film was going to be.
Sounds mad.
I thought this was a really cool way to reveal the information rather than just some press release or something.
Yeah.
Just because they clearly know that The Rock is the internet's best friend.
His social media following is such a powerful tool. Like, that's half the reason why you bring him into a film is his marketing
absolutely.
weight. But this sounds really cool. So he said he's like this dude who's heading up his character in Rampage, his best friend is an albino gorilla named George. Woo!
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a monster movie.
It's kind of exactly like a monster movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
The
it's
whole
like,
point.
he's hyped up saying, we've got the best VFX team on board.
Weta Studios is involved in this,
Is
which, as
cool.
far as VFX
that's
goes,
yeah,
is-
there you go.
They're
So
the second best effects team, but that's still pretty damn good.
it just sounds like a fun movie. I didn't have any hope for this film, and now after this one Instagram post, I am way more intrigued than I was before.
I feel like that's the Johnson effect.
You have coined that term.
which I have coined as the Johnson effect. I'm getting to the point where I'm almost getting Rock fatigue or Johnson fatigue.
Connor suffers from Johnson fatigue.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like in the last 2 years, he's been so prolific and like such a kind of a presence. I'm almost getting to the point where I think by the time this comes out, I'll kind of be like,
Well, I mean, this year it's been Fast 8, and now we've got Baywatch coming up.
yeah. And he did a lot of social media hype for Jumanji, which he'll be in. I think that's coming out either next year.
Into next year, I believe. Yeah.
I'm basing that on nothing, just my gut feeling.
Residual Facebook information.
Yeah, I'm sure I read that somewhere. Maybe.
Pretty sure it's this year. Yeah. That's fine.
Is it this year? Okay, right.
it
So
this year?
I was talking
think so.
shit.
Is it?
So yeah, he'd done a lot of social media for that. There's a lot of social media before all this for Central Intelligence. He's just everywhere. You can't get away from the guy.
He'll come for you.
You can't get it. He'll get you.
He's actually stalking you, Connor.
Me
It's like-
specifically. I have the idea that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is stalking me, sending me all these like stuff on Facebook.
It's that Johnson fatigue, man. You
Johnson
see
fatigue.
things.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
show you Johnson fatigue.
This movie probably has like a 0% chance of being any good. I guess it's a video game movie.
This
about
could be the one,
giant
man.
monsters. Yeah, this will be the one. They'll get it right this time.
I love how directors keep trying it. They're like,
Yeah,
I'm
keep
going to
doing
break
it,
this
man.
Last
style.
year it was like Warcraft. This is going to be the one, man.
Yeah.
Duncan Jones.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's
This will be the
Creed,
one.
this is gonna be the
We're
one.
gonna do it.
Fassbender, in Fassbender we trust. No, we don't.
Resident Evil 12. This will be the one.
But this one could be
This
the one.
could be the one. Yeah, it could be fun, but it's probably going to be god awful.
Did you guys ever play the game on the Nintendo
Yeah,
64?
I played
Yeah.
it on the original PlayStation. Loved it.
Oh,
It's
is it
good
also
fun.
on the PlayStation?
Mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, what a fun game.
Yeah.
If they keep the designs and the colorful, larger than life aesthetic of the game,
No, see, I reckon
That's-
this is the main problem with these kind of
gritty,
movies.
realistic.
No, it doesn't even have to be
Rampage.
gritty realistic, but
Dun,
people
dun,
are always
dun.
like, oh, I want it really to either follow the plot or follow the aesthetic
Yeah,
of the
they
video
got to
game.
follow the exact plot of the game.
No, I'm just saying in general, and that's always the biggest failing of of those movies, I think, because they're trying to please the gamers that want to feel like it's that game, and that doesn't translate well. I remember watching Prince of Persia, which had like they kept trying to do these shots and scenes that mirrored how the game looked in aesthetic,
Yeah.
and to someone that had played the game, it was a cool little nod, but everyone else, it was like, well, that was weird.
Yeah, they always too slavish to the original audience. I will definitely agree with that, and that was a big problem with Warcraft. All the Warcraft nerds were like, "That was sick," because I knew who that was and that Easter egg, and this feels like the game. But for me, who played Warcraft 3 for probably 10 hours for like 10 hours in his life, it meant absolutely nothing to me, and the fact that it didn't have a good story and good characters meant that the overall experience of the film was completely lackluster.
Yeah,
and
it was not a good film.
I was going to take 10-minute bathroom breaks towards the end of the film because I'm like, this is boring as.
But we've got to think about the hardcore Rampage fans here. What do they want? How do we serve them best?
Maybe that's what will make this film good because they don't have to please anyone.
Anyway,
really.
it's a bit of a blank slate. So yeah, it's probably just going to be like a subpar.
What does it
Godzilla
take
movie
to
or
make a
something.
good video game movie? Just find someone that like a video game that no one's either ever heard of or cares about, and then you can do whatever you need to do
Don't
with it.
follow it at all.
Yeah.
Just talking about Johnson fatigue to finish this up.
This is
I
gaining
need to talk
momentum.
to you guys about something. When do you think The Rock is going to max out? Because everyone,
I feel like
every
it's coming
dog
up
has
now.
its day.
In
Every dog-
popularity or size? Because he seems to keep getting bigger.
I think Fast Five was him at his biggest. He was so juiced up.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of coming to that point where people
The
are going to
tipping
stop.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He just had Fast 8,
Yeah,
the biggest movie in the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Maybe
guys.
maybe that was it.
Maybe
That was the top.
This
Yeah,
is,
maybe.
Yeah. All right. So number 5, we've got a new Defenders trailer.
Finally.
So this is the next chapter after 2 seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and a Luke Cage season.
And
Oh, and Iron Fist. Sorry, I just
very
No,
forgettable.
no,
oddly
forget about
forgot
him.
about that.
Yeah.
So this is the Avengers of the TV Marvel world.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I like to kind of describe it to people who don't know much about this series.
And I would have been so excited about this a couple of years ago, but I feel like the Netflix universe has just been really steadily heading downhill.
Yeah, that really bums me out that that's kind of
know.
how it's perceived right now.
It's devastating. And Iron Fist has hurt the reputation of all the other shows
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
retroactively.
Massively. I mean, just that series for me, I don't know if either of you have actually made it
Did you
all
finish
the way
it?
through. I did finish it.
Wow.
Hell no.
And I thought it was such a piece of shit
Damn.
series. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, particularly compared to the others, which I've really enjoyed all the others. I know you guys had some complaints about Luke Cage.
I don't. I think like the last couple of episodes, it gets a bit. Yeah, you got to go through the
It's terrible.
emotions.
But it's not terrible. That's the thing. Like, it's just
When
not,
the guy turns out to be his brother the whole time, and then he comes up dressed like a snake, and he's like, "Hey, brother, how you going?"
I liked
What
that.
is
I thought it
this?
was goofy, and
Let's
I
be
was down
honest,
with it.
Cottonmouth was the better
Oh,
antagonist.
yeah.
Oh, he edged him out just a little,
Yeah.
maybe.
But it didn't bother me when it bothered. Listen, the series as a
Hey,
whole,
guys, listen.
the series as a whole had a better front half, but as a whole, I really enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
in what people generally say these days, I feel like Luke Cage was shit.
I think that's such an injustice to Luke Cage.
But no, I think they say the first half was good
Yeah, okay.
or passable, and I really don't think they knocked it out of the park at any point in that series. But it was definitely watchable for the first 6 or so, and then it really went off the rails and it just didn't go anywhere.
yeah,
But the problem is that all of the seasons have the same issues. That's because when Daredevil first came out, they're like, all right, maybe it's a little weak towards the end, but overall really impressive. But then
Season 2 had that in spades.
well, they just kept doing that
Yeah.
every one of the seasons. Maybe even Jessica Jones a little bit. They're just all a little drawn out, too long.
yeah,
well, this is going to be 8 episodes.
yeah, which is already a strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
they're-
with all that context, what do we think of the trailer?
Oh yeah. Look, there's not much to the trailer. But as far as kind of the way that people are going to meld together, I'm pretty down for it. I'm cautiously optimistic about this
Hey,
one.
that's this week's
Every
term.
scene that has Iron Fist in it makes me cringe. But
That was the first time I saw his power because I didn't watch the series at all.
yeah,
So I was like,
that
oh,
scene where he
that's what he
clocks
does.
Luke Cage, I thought that was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So good. And that was a cool little callback to Luke Cage's series when that guy broke his hand on his face.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I love the trailer. I love that Nirvana song.
Oh, that
yeah.
was
just
so good. That
seeing-
remix.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And just that little, hallway fight.
oh,
That's
yeah,
what the Netflix universe is
Yeah.
all about. Fucking
Yeah.
hallway fights. And
Yeah.
it looks like an awesome hallway
Yeah.
fight right at the end there. All 4 of them were really working in tandem. It looks like they finally got a choreographer again after they didn't have one on Iron Fist.
Damn, you
Yeah.
took my point. I was going to bring up the corridor. Yeah, man. so down with this. It doesn't look like they are changing the aesthetic of the series. It still looks like Daredevil and Jessica Jones. It doesn't look like, they've pumped in another 100 million into this production budget. It still has that,
TV look.
Yeah, or whatever that Marvel look is. Yeah, well, I guess it is gritty and realistic, especially Jessica Jones. It's down to earth. It's tangible. It's real. It's not flashy.
I reckon it looks a little cooler than maybe the other seasons. Maybe that's due to it being shorter. But the effects look really sweet.
Yeah,
and you don't see a lot of special effects in the other shows.
Yes.
And it's so good to see Jessica Jones again. Just that energy and character, I feel like, was so sorely missing from the seasons since hers.
I agree. That one's probably my favorite with Daredevil season 1. Those two are probably my favorite.
I really enjoyed Daredevil season 1. That might be my favorite. I think Jessica Jones is by far the best, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of universally agreed upon that those are the two best out of all of those.
I think so.
Yeah, 100%.
Out of all the seasons. Again, my biggest concern is going to be whether Iron Fist is able to... is that going to bring the series down, or are the rest of the characters and the plots going to be able to elevate Iron Fist? Because I mean, it's hard for me to really pinpoint where that season failed or what really made that season
everything
fail. Yeah, I think it was the main actor. To be honest, I just didn't like him.
Yeah,
I didn't like the way he delivered lines. I didn't, and also the script. To be honest, the way that he was scripted really
it's hard to know who to blame more.
Yeah,
because they're both 0 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of those like little Buddhist lines that he tried to put out during that series that just felt so weird and flat.
That series was so unaware of just how stupid it was somehow.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened. I just feel like they had this idea of what that character was meant to be, and
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That entire series just gives me shivers. All right, let's move on to more Marvel news. So we've got a teaser trailer and a look at the Inhumans costumes.
I'd like to call it a logo trailer.
A logo trailer?
Trailer, that's it.
I'm not even sure what the hell that is. Look, I'll be honest, I know absolutely nothing about Inhumans.
Surprise, surprise, Colin.
Right?
You don't know something about an unknown comic book.
They're a big part of the DC universe. I can't believe you don't know that.
I knew it. Ben, I might just shoot this one to you to explain what the hell they are.
Yeah, well, basically they're the MCU's version of the X-Men currently, or their version of mutants, sorry.
That's kind of what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, they were introduced on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Great show, finally.
Like the concept or
the
name?
The concept and the name, yeah, not the characters that'll be in this show. This is the Inhuman royal family who live on the moon.
Cool.
Comics are weird.
Hell yeah.
And anyway, so this is going to be an 8-episode miniseries. They're originally going to make a film. It was part of Phase 3.
That's
and
right.
2019, I think they were going to do that, and they dropped that.
And that's the only
quietly.
Marvel one that they've kind of not
Axed.
followed through on.
Yeah. So ABC got it back, which I think is good because they've been doing a lot of work with the characters or the Inhumans on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's kind of the main thrust of the series at this point. And I think it could be cool to have those two shows kind of working in tandem about them. And this series, they must have high hopes for it because it's actually premiering in IMAX, the first 2 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a pity that the IMAX in Sydney is
No
down
more.
and out.
Yeah, as if we were going to go see this on IMAX.
I would.
Yeah, I would, but...
For the podcast boys, come on.
Yeah.
I'm a podcast.
Anyway, my feeling is they're going to try and make something like Game of Thrones light out of this.
So it's more like a fantasy kind of vibe?
Well, it's this royal family.
Okay.
So the
they live on the
political
moon.
side of Game of Thrones or the gore side of
the gore side, yeah. They're going to bring that to
really
the MCU.
like upset.
Yeah, just
Well, you got to be specific in that point. 'Cause that could mean that-
mostly the rape is what they're going for,
Yeah.
I think. No, the political stuff definitely. It's all about kind of a coup, I think, on the royal family.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Cool. Very cool. I'm excited. I think, once again, good option to go for 8 episodes as Defenders because I think that
Definitely.
just makes it tighter.
It's cool to see MCU like branching out in that way. Like I know, them doing TV shows is nothing new, But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought it's its own little thing, and then you have the Netflix Marvel universe, and then you have the movie universe, and they all give nods to each other and have some
revolve
kind of
around each other.
tissue, but they're very much their own kind of thing.
It's going to be pretty out of control next year. We have Cloak and Dagger coming, and The Runaways. We'll have this show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and all the Netflix shows and however many movies they're going to be making.
It's like
as
people
well.
think Marvel I feel like they've only just started.
Yeah,
you know, they're
taking over.
They're now doing 3 movies a year. It's
When's
insane.
it all going to fall apart?
Yeah, I know we kind of praise Marvel probably a little bit too much in this show.
PC Marvel.
But I got to be honest, it is really impressive how they have managed to keep in check all these different facets of this story, this overall universe. It is unparalleled in the way that they have maintained this overall universe.
A lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
Especially Iron Fist. That was a lot of balls.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to the model that they have.
Yeah.
I know I've said this again. If you want to go back and listen to an old podcast, you can hear me
Just
gushing
pick
on Marvel.
a podcast and at some point George will start on this Marvel ramp about how
But
good
it's all
their atypical style of
it all comes down to the model.
Yeah.
It's a great model.
But no, to be honest, it is, as far as I'm concerned, unparalleled the way that they have orchestrated this entire thing. And with such little disaster. I mean, Iron Fist is obviously a complete cock-up. But apart from that, they have maintained a relatively good level of quality.
Good pedigree, yeah.
Throughout this entire enterprise. So, and I mean, I am very interested to see where they will just reach that critical point where it's too much to juggle and things start falling off.
We'll have to see what their status is next year, because I feel like Doctor Strange was a step down in a lot of ways. Iron Fist was also
I disagree.
definitely terrible. I don't know. I don't think it's anywhere up near, say, Guardians, Winter Soldier, Civil War.
You're kind of picking the best of the bunch, though, for that.
Yeah, but that was kind of like a couple of years there. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
step-
I mean, it
step
has
down.
to ebb and flow. I don't think they can maintain that kind of like Civil War or
But I think from the beginning they were just heading up.
yeah.
And you know, Iron Fist comes along. That's the first really just terrible thing they've done.
Yeah.
And so, you know, say Inhumans comes out, if that's terrible as well, then could start getting a bit ugly.
Yeah.
If Defenders sucks, if that's like an Iron
If
Fist
Defender
thing.
sucks, that'll be a bad one for them.
Oh,
to
that'll be
take.
the end of Marvel Netflix universe.
They'll
I
literally
reckon.
just pack it up.
Well,
Pack it up.
where do you go from there? I mean, if the Defenders,
Yeah, Daredevil's not
Cocks
showing
up.
up in any movies if the Defenders sucks.
yeah,
Just finishing up on this, what did you guys think of the costume designs? Because
Oh, yeah, we
I
haven't
thought they
actually
were
talked about it.
super wacky, and I think this Inhumans one is going to be kind of like the wackiest one yet. I'm really excited for it.
yeah, it does look like they're really going out there.
I loved her wig, the red hair.
That wig is terrible.
I thought it was awesome.
There's been a lot of chatter about that being just like
I don't know why people are complaining about it.
It's terrible. It's a
Why?
bad wig.
I don't think so. I think it looks
it
awesome.
looks strange.
I
My
ju- I
eyes are
think
drawn
it
to that.
has,
Shouldn't
like,
look
a
like a
comic-
big orange wig.
I think it has like that larger than life.
I would have.
Look.
I would have rather them have CGI'd her hair.
Oh yeah,
than that.
sure you would.
They will be, because her power is she can control her hair.
Well, yeah,
like
but even just in that
tentacles or
photo,
something. Yeah.
it just looked-
So presumably it will look very different in the final product.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
I
very bad
liked
in
the
photo.
costume. I don't know any of the characters' names. The guy on the far left that looks like he's got some kind of tribal thing on.
Mm.
That looks cool to me.
There's one of the characters is about a 6 foot tall bulldog, so that'll be interesting.
Cool.
The final product should look pretty cool, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't know what the budget is on that, but it looks great. It shits all over Netflix.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
God.
It's not that gritty realistic. It's got more budget. They've got sets. They've got
Like
Yeah.
there's just superpowers galore in that show,
Yeah,
which is really
okay.
cool to see.
and this comes out September, right?
Sure.
I'm gonna say September.
I
Final
feel like
answer.
we should know more of when the release dates are on
you
this.
know.
No, let's just pick a month.
It's
There's only
just-
a few left in the year.
This entire podcast is just gut feeling. I feel like this could be happening
That's
sometime
our branding,
later
man.
this year.
That's our branding.
I'm
Roll the dice.
going to say October.
And Connor, you say August. And,
and
you
then
got
we're all
3
set.
months
Got a solid
there.
window,
So-
yeah.
George just put $100 on it, and we're
Yep,
all
yep, yep.
sweet.
Hey, that was only in the first 2 episodes. We're up to episode 26
I'm
now,
not letting
so
it die.
fuck you.
All right. On to the next one. All right, number 7. We've
Jordan
got
Peele to write, direct.
fuck you. Don't try and steal my thing, Ben. That's all I have. All right.
For Johnson fatigue.
What do you have? Johnson fatigue. Sounds like an STI.
Is this staying in the podcast? I'm trying to
No,
figure
God,
out
no.
right now.
No,
I'm trying to figure it out.
All right. Number 7. We have finally got our first Blade Runner 2049 posters, as well as the trailer for the trailer.
Posters.
Yay!
Holy cow. We have finally got the posters. We've been hanging out for these.
This is Connor's big story this week. He couldn't wait. He actually moved it up in the rankings.
I actually
moved it
wanted
from
this to be
7
at
to
like
8.
number 4. I don't know, like just this film for me, I don't know why I'm so excited. And I absolutely hate the idea of a trailer for a trailer. I think it's such a wanky marketing pull move. But I got so excited for this trailer because it looks so sick.
Yeah. The look of it looks
looking
lookity.
It's looking good.
everything about it. Just that 15 minutes. I wish it was 15 minutes. 15 seconds. Just, I don't know how it did it, but it just got me so amped.
I think Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve has such an amazing aesthetic. You look at a Sicario, you look at Arrival. He naturally fits that Blade Runner look, and he's just taken it to this other level. I am incredibly excited. This is one of the most anticipated films of this year.
Yeah.
Next week the trailer drops. We'll be talking about it. I look forward to it.
I don't want to get my hopes up too high for this thing. Like everything on paper is so good creatively, and it looks awesome so far. But it's a 30-year late sequel, which never really bodes well.
But I mean, the story happens 30 years later as well.
Yeah, it's still a sequel.
30 years.
So,
yeah, fair enough. I mean, it feels as though it has the potential to be a Total Recall.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I'm glad they're not doing a reboot though. This one's a sequel.
Yeah. I think that's really important. Like, I
Yes.
think they needed to have that. I don't think.
I never wanted a sequel to Blade Runner. I don't want a reboot either, so I guess this is the bit lesser evil, maybe.
As you said, man, just the talent behind the camera, that's pretty much what I'm going on. And the visuals from this gave me a good indication that they've got a good grasp on what this needs to be.
That's the thing. My only drawback for this film is that it's a Blade Runner film. Like, if it was its own property, I'd be so much more pumped. Like everything looked like it currently does, and people involved.
I'm to be honest, I'm kind of happy that it's a Blade Runner film. As much as I love the original, it does feel a little bit dated. No, I mean, just in terms
sacrilege.
Bullshit.
No, I absolutely love the film, but I would like to see what someone could do with that that story or that universe in today's filmmaking world. I think that this could very possibly be the realization of that hope.
I just can't get over how good Blade Runner looks. I can't get over the effects in that film. It is one of my favorite films to put on. Also from the score, Vangelis' score, that's such an important component to that film.
But even the music in the trailer for this one, which kind of harks back to that and really captures that.
I hope they nail that. I hope it's not too much homage. I hope it dares to find its own path or forge its own path. Because if it's too self-serving to the first one and doesn't become its own thing,
it's a fine rope that they walk when they do this kind of project, where that you have to hark back to that original property.
Yeah,
like it has to fit within that universe. It has to have enough callback that people are like, yeah, this is a Blade Runner film, while also making sure that this is its own thing.
I think they could have, if they'd taken like maybe a split approach with Unbreakable and done it in that way, and you kind of revealed through maybe the marketing material or in the film itself that Harrison Ford pops up, you realize, holy shit, this is set in Blade Runner in LA 2049.
Yeah, I'm not too optimistic considering it's doing exactly what The Force Awakens did, with a little trailer with Harrison Ford pops up at the end and it's like, hey, look at me, I'm back.
With the gun as well.
But it was
exactly
lot less,
the same.
It was a lot less kind of gimmicky, this one. I felt like in the Force Awakens trailer,
as if
it kind of comes
gimmicky,
out like,
mate.
Chewie, we're home.
I wish
and
in this one he was
every
like,
nerd
Ryan
around,
Gosling, you're home.
And like every nerd in like the world just nutted themselves in unison.
Nutted themselves. Oh my God.
People just went and lost their minds at that little kind of, and it was a gimmicky move. Like, of course it was. This one felt a little bit more kind of as part of the trailer, and as though like that character is meant to be there. He's an integral part of the plot in this as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, the whole premise behind this film is, it's 30 years after the events of the first film. Ryan Gosling plays a new Ryan Gosling. Sorry.
Gosling.
That's
how you pronounce his name.
Ryan Gosling plays a new Blade Runner, and he kind of unearths this secret.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, and I like how they're keeping it fairly vague.
Some kind of a secret.
and he has to go find Harrison Ford. Like, that's the whole idea. I think that's a cool way to go with this. I hope it, like, I would have been really disappointed if they had just kind of mirrored the plot of the original, just with like a new character and he kind of plopped up, which is what The Force Awakens did. And it worked in its own little way. I felt like that universe is very kind of geared towards that style of sequel. In this one, I don't think that would have worked.
I don't think Blade Runner even has a plot. Like, I'm struggling to think of it right now. Deckard, he goes to find these replicants, and then all this magical stuff happens on screen, and by the end, it's Roy Batty on the roof and Richter Howell giving these amazing monologues, but it's not really about the plot. It's about
philosophical. And it's how it feels.
It's the tone. It's got this density to it. Yeah, this will be way more plot centric. It sounds more plot centric already. A couple of things from the posters that I really liked was, and the trailer is like this kind of like post apocalyptic Mad Max look for those scenes with Harrison Ford. So maybe some kind of nuclear attack has happened.
It definitely. You did get the sense that there are two kind of societies, like there's like an outer kind of world that's fucked up, and then this kind of corporate scene where you get to see Robin Wright doing some kind of speech.
Yeah.
By the way, Robin Wright, absolutely love that woman. In everything she does, I just think she's sick. Her and House of Cards, really.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Stunning.
House of Cards. And the other thing I really liked was his new car.
The car looks cool.
What are the cars called in Blade Runner? There's a specific name for them.
Okay, you look that up. I can address the fact that
I should know this.
Ryan Gosling has been getting a lot of shit for his collar in the. He's got that weird collar in the poster. People have been giving endless amounts of shit for that.
Your collar sucks.
Which I always thought was a weird thing to pick on in this kind of film.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point is that, obviously fashion will have changed and moved on.
No. Don't lie to me.
One of the
spinners.
There you go.
That's what they're called. That's the car.
Look, to be honest, I think
we should wrap this up because we got a trailer coming next week, and we're going to be talking about it then.
I'll talk about it just as much then. I cannot wait for this. I don't know, like this. Oh, it just looks so fucking good. All right, I'll allow us to move on then. Number 8. It looks as though Jordan Peele is going to write, direct, and produce a social thriller for Universal.
Yay.
Another one.
I am very excited.
There's not much more to say about it. There's no name or anything.
I'm glad he's not signed on to Akira. I think he needs to get, Get Out was what, $4.5 million budget. I think he needs to do a $20 million, $30 million budget
film. $25 million. So
there we go.
Spot on.
So he needs to do that, and then he can go to that $100 million category and do an Akira or something.
Now get him on a Marvel movie now.
You see,
Get him in the DC.
I'm glad Universal are coaching him through this. They're giving him a little more dollars to play with. He can get comfortable behind that kind of size production. Good. Tick, 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 tick from me.
Yeah, $25 million. He should be able to do whatever he wants with that.
Yeah. I'm interested to see that that's the kind of movie he's going for as a second director kind of position. That was bad. Let me try that again. I'm gonna try and speak this time. Look, no, I think that it's interesting that he's gone down this genre again to do the kind of social thriller.
He's obviously a fan.
Well, yeah, and I'll be interested to see in 5 years' time whether he's known as a comedian or kind of a horror guy or a thriller guy. That'll be really interesting to see how he kind of, because he's already. He kind of solidified himself as a comedic force. Like that's his thing. So if he just does thriller from here on out, then that might be his thing. It might be what he's really good at.
Yeah, very interested to see where his career goes from here after such a strong start. Like so many directors, seems like more than not, seem to have a good first one and then they never really live up to it again.
Yeah, I mean that's always the risk, and it'd be unfortunate. You get some directors like Denis Villeneuve that have such a strong pedigree. Like every film that comes out is, quite frankly, just amazing. That you say, all right, so he's got something there. He knows what he's doing. Whereas there are some directors that just happen to get the right circumstances. They are able to produce a good film, and they're never able to replicate that because it's just lightning in a bottle.
I think it's different. I think it's the difference between the route directors take to in their career. So you look at somebody like what's his name who directed Rogue One? Gareth Edwards. Look at someone like Gareth Edwards, right? He did Monsters, which is like for $5 in his back pocket. Yeah. And then he went and did Godzilla, which I'm sure was like maybe 100 million.
Yeah. Oh, at
and
least,
now he's kind of stuck in this scenario where he is a yes man director. Sorry, Gareth, if I'm offending anyone here, but that's kind of how I feel his role is. He's serving the studio. Someone like Jordan Peele taking this route, he's able to call a shot. He's able to carve out his voice and his niche, and then over time, when he gets $100 million budget, it's like, dude, this is Jordan Peele. He knows what he's doing. Leave him alone. Mm-hmm. With someone like Gareth Edwards, it's like, no, Gareth. No. Jin Erso is going to go and be a sad motherfucker, bland motherfucker this whole movie.
A very sad picture of Gareth Edwards. Like
Gareth, go hang out with.
That's why I had to say sorry.
Go hang out with Mark Webb. We'll direct this scene. Don't worry.
Just in here crying in his pile of money.
But I think as a director, it's hard because you get given Star Wars, and of course you're going to go, yeah, let's do this. But in the end, in 5-10 years' time, where are you in your career from there? Yeah, that's my 2 cents for this week, guys. Tune in next week.
All right, guys, we've done it. We've plowed through the top 8.
Thank God there was something to actually talk about this week.
This week there was actually a ton of news, so we do have some honorable mentions, and we'll try and get through them as quick as possible. But as always, that never really goes to plan. First one is the new Valerian poster hints at Fifth Element connection.
What was that connection?
I don't know. You're the one that put it on this list, weren't you?
It was me.
Oh, because Ben actually contributed to the show notes.
I gotcha. Mate, I put a bunch of stuff on there. So on the poster, you can see a sign. Looks like a sign for a bar, presumably where Rihanna's character performs, possibly, and it says Orbans. Presumably cutting off K at the beginning, which would be Corbin's, which is the name of Bruce Willis's character in The Fifth Element, Corbin Dallas.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it could be nothing, but the fact that it's on the poster is a bit interesting, I think. Perhaps he's the owner of a bar in this universe. And, he slipped into the end of Split. We didn't see that coming, so it could happen again. I think that'd be really cool.
He becomes the king of slipping back into franchises. That's
just revisiting all the old franchises.
Just slipping into Bruce.
It's my movie now.
All right. We couldn't have this podcast with at least mentioning DC.
DC suck.
Are they still around?
Aquaman begins filming this week.
I'm actually super excited about this.
That's the one that seems pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. What was it? An Instagram post, right?
The Rock actually released an Instagram post.
Other movies are now going to The Rock.
Shit going.
They hire him.
Please promote our film. We need money.
That's a good idea.
I'm pumped for Aquaman. I love James Wan. Fast and the Furious 7 sucked, but the rest of his back catalogue I'm a big fan of. So including Dead Silence. So hey, I'm pumped.
Could be good. All right, so Jeremy. Our next honorable mention is Jeremy Renner to play Doc Holliday in a new movie.
What? In a new movie?
Yeah, well, that's all that's been released. And the only reason I put this on is because Tombstone is one of my all-time favorite films.
We are the biggest Doc Holliday fans around here. I didn't just have to look down at my phone to remember who we're talking about currently.
I have no idea.
Welcome to the Doc Holliday cast.
So in Tombstone, Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday will forever be my ultimate, ultimate betrayal. And yeah, I put this in there because I love that film. Tombstone is, as I said, one of my all-time favorite films.
Shit.
And I think this is an abomination to have Jeremy Renner try and play that character.
Boo, Jeremy Renner.
Now that we got there.
12.
Yeah. Next one will Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has been confirmed that it will take place after Avengers 3 and 4. This was, again, I believe in an Instagram post that this got released.
So this movie won't be coming out till, 2021 at the earliest or
ages
so?
away.
Which is interesting because...
What's James Gunn going to do?
I just hang around in the Marvel office, hanging out.
4
with,
years of prepping for a
twiddle his
movie.
thumbs.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, I just thought
It'll take 4 years to do the CGI in this film.
it's going to be interesting because that means Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be set 7 years after Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like chronologically,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
which that's a big jump for these characters.
So it'll be kind of like an old, withered...
Yeah, it's going to be the Logan version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, seriously. It's the Dark Knight Rises of the
They're-
Guardians.
It's 7
they're all
years,
dying.
not 70.
Peter Quirrell.
Peter
Groot got
Quill.
cut down. He's gone.
Me calling him Peter Quirrell's a thing now.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
is that
this
the thing?
podcast. Just so you guys are
Stop
across
trying to
that.
make it a thing. Make one
Just
mistake.
say
Like,
his
I'm going to
name
run
right,
with
you
this.
idiot.
Yeah. Just admit that you made a mistake.
Is that it?
Nearly.
Dog
All right.
holiday. I still can't get over that.
We'll have our Tombstone retro review coming out next week.
I would 100%.
I've never seen it. So
never seen-
No.
Oh, man.
Let's do it.
Ben, have you?
Tombstone. No.
Come on, guys. Do you guys watch westerns at all?
Nope.
Oh,
No?
yeah, a few. I've seen maybe one Western.
I love a good western. And that, as I said, it's up there. Good that we got that in there. All right, finally, we'll finish off on Game of Thrones. It's come out. There will be 4 spin-offs after this final season.
Oh boy.
They have
Spin-off episodes or spin-off series?
I believe series, although I could be
Jeez.
wrong about that. And
Daenerys, the animated series.
they haven't confirmed, which characters will have those spin-offs. Some people have theorized about what direction that will go, but I think fuck it, HBO is like, we're not going to let this die.
No. It's
Yeah,
a
fair
smart.
enough.
It's a smart business
It's
decision.
the
from
biggest
them.
brand in the world.
Yeah, they're not going to
They're
just.
gonna have
to.
Although I reckon they'll allow it to just be driven into the dirt, and then they can leave it having squeezed every dollar out of this franchise.
How you do it.
They possibly can.
How it goes.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, they can't just leave it on a high note or anything.
would.
That would be
No.
ridiculous.
Yeah, what a bummer way to finish.
Yeah.
4 spin-offs. Jeez.
Oh well, we did it. That's it. That's the news for the week.
Help.
Well done, everyone.
Hooray.
It was a big week this time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of news.
Like everyone's like looking around like, what? We're not used to this.
We're not used to having
We
like
got to
not
talk
to
about
milk shit
potentially
out of
David Goyer potentially signing on for a potential Green Lantern film that
Well, we
might
did get one of those.
potentially happen.
I will admit the Doc Holliday one was a stretch, but
No.
Well, that's it, guys. It's another episode of Top 8 done. Well done, guys. I'm pumped for next week already. There's so much movie news in the pipeline, including Blade Runner.
Can we record next week's now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll have enough to talk
I'm
about.
literally about to hit stop and record.
DC fucked up. Marvel's doing something cool. That's the news.
Guys, we're on iTunes, we're on YouTube. Please hit subscribe, comment, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We've got tons of content coming out. We've got the Prometheus review up on Tuesday, and then Thursday we'll be hitting up Alien Covenant and giving our review for that, which is really exciting. We're all dying to see that. So tons of cool stuff happening. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Love hanging out, talking movies with you guys. The boys, Connor
Bye.
and Benny.
I'm not very fond of you two. Goodbye.
Oh, well, at least keep me around for a while. Check you next time, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Check you next time.
Check it.